What is your stance on modern day feminism?
On what?
Modern day feminism.
It's failed women. Miserable. I gotta tell you a quick anecdote. It must be success. That's the leader. That's the leader. So the feminists are wrong. They got it. All the evidence is out there. There's a reason why 40, 50-year-old single women are desperately trying to get pregnant.
Feminism has failed women, and now women want to submit. And let me make it clear, it was women themselves that made this decision. So I don't blame feminism, more so I blame the women who told other women to walk away and that a woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle. Watch to the end of the video to fully understand the implications of how women have been affected by this phenomenon and how things are going to change in the coming years. Today's video comes from Man Guide. His channel will be linked in the description of the video. And now let's just go ahead and jump right into the video.
If someone puts me, drafts me in the military, I'm so sorry. I'm running the other way.
Do you think that men have a duty to defend you while you sleep? Do you think that men would be cowards if they did not go to the draft?
I don't necessarily think they'd be cowards.
Well, then who would protect you?
Couldn't tell you.
Do you think that men have a responsibility to show up for the draft? If they're drafted? To defend the nation and make sure that you're protected?
Yes.
Well, then how come you don't?
If men who aren't drafted in the military don't protect us, I don't know who's going to protect us.
Right. So if they have that responsibility and they're cowards if they don't go to the draft, right? Somebody has to go. You prefer that it's them over you, right?
Yes.
That doesn't sound very equal. You're talking about feminism being part of this equality and anti-patriarchy. It would appear that the patriarchy is necessary because you want them to go and fight wars on your behalf so that you can sleep at night without having any troubles, right? And you don't want to go fight those wars.
Are you saying now that you don't have girls as friends? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, platonic female friends? Absolutely not, no.
You don't at all?
No. What ends up happening a lot of times when you have female friends is you end up being her emotional tampon. You end up being her solution provider. You end up being her masculine energy. You end up being a lot of boyfriend traits to that girl, inevitably, because it's just a male instinct, right? They've done this too. Why did women not be allowed in the military infantry for so long? Because men have a natural provider, protector instinct. When a woman is, getting attacked in combat or whatever, men are going to spring to action to try to help her and compromise the unit. So this is why women have been kept out of infantry and combat position for so long. So I say all that to say this. If you end up as a friend with a female, you're inevitably going to take on boyfriend traits, whether you want to or not, naturally. But her end, she's not necessarily obligated to give you any type of sexual access. So what's happening is it's a one-sided relationship, which a lot of girls that are, put guys in a friend zone, they're able to benefit and get the benefits without the guy getting what he wants. All of you guys right now probably have at least one or two guys that's in the friend zone that would hook up with you in an instant if you called them, but you would never hook up with them. But you're still able to siphon off benefit from them. Men, we don't get it that way. So I look at it like, from a logically sound perspective, am I going to be friends with a female when I know for a fact I'm not going to get any type of reciprocation? And then on top of that, it's someone that can't identify with my masculine problems. It's an L for me altogether.
And
that's why.
Another reason why men don't want their girlfriend or wife with the boy best friend.
Thank you.
So they're building a house on the lot next to me, and this morning the framers were there working when my dick appointment left. Well, the same guys were still there when my soon-to-be ex-husband showed up to work on my house. They probably think that I'm a whore, but I am.
Hi.
Hi.
What you doing?
Reading.
I left you alone for 5 minutes and you spent $873? You left me alone in a Costco.
If a guy is giving you too much attention, what does that do for you?
Major turnoff.
Why?
I think it's, I don't know, it's kind of unhealthy to say, but there's just too much of a good thing, not a good thing. There's no chase. There's no grab point. So
because it maybe feels like validation seeking. They're checking in all the time to see.
Yeah. Or oftentimes it can come off as controlling. What are you doing? What are you up to?
Okay.
I've been stung by a wasp. I've been stung by a
killer. West side killer.
Why do you think it's a bad deal for you?
Why do I marriage? Once you get married, you have community property. So once the marriage starts, everything that you like from that point moving forward, that's shared. In the event of a divorce, there is some bias in the court system against men, but there's also just the financial cost of a divorce. Now, I'm not 100% certain if it's the case in the divorce, for example, if you're the breadwinner, I think you not only would have to pay your attorney, you'd have to pay for her attorney. Attorneys typically charge $200 to $300 an hour. Divorces are typically not cheap. They drag on for years. Anything related to litigation or court system is rather not just financially taxing, but is rather just mentally draining and mentally distracting. Whereas you could have perhaps a more clean split if you weren't tied in a marriage. There's that, there's alimony, of course, and then there's, of course, child support, but that's not really related to marriage because you can have children outside of wedlock and child support can come into the picture whether you're married or not. So there's alimony, there's the legal costs, and then there's the community property component of it where you could be giving her essentially half of everything you've earned.
You see, guys, we're living in an era now where the choices that women have made are beginning to come back to them, and it's beginning to haunt them because they said that they did not need men, they did not want men, and yet men are the ones who have been eternally subsidizing their living. Men are the ones who are their providers and protectors. Women were not designed to live without a husband. There are so many simps on this channel that will basically pop up, and you know, I told you this, the manosphere is rife with simps because they have nowhere else to go. And it's, you know, we're dealing with the first generation of men right now that have come into adulthood and they were raised entirely by women. What do I mean by that? Guys, the medical system, it's entirely women. A lot of young men, they go to the doctor, it's a woman. The schools are completely run by women. All right? So they were educated entirely by women. Most of these homes today that young men are coming out of are fatherless homes. So this is the results of a matriarchy. So at home, they learned how to be adults, how to function in the world from mothers who were always, you know, running around with Chad and Tyrone and seeing these different men coming in and out of their homes at all different times. Okay, and you know, and they internalize that. They didn't learn how to control their emotions because children learn how to control their emotions from their fathers, not their mothers. And when they went to school, they are surrounded by women, and they are indoctrinated entirely in the notion of this is what it means for equality, and this is what men are supposed to do, and this is what the purpose of men is, and they're basically spoon-fed, internalized disdain for themselves. So now they come out into the world and they believe that women are powerful, women don't need men. And I have guys in my comment section telling me that, you know, hey, listen, Angry, I just want to let you know that I know a lot of women who are older women and they're doing wonderfully. They're well off and everything is great in their life and they don't need a man. And it's amazing because these guys don't want to accept that what they see and the reality are not the same. Many of these women are not happy. Many of these women are struggling. Many of these women are living in damn near states of poverty. But they're not going to admit to it. They're not going to tell anyone because of their egos. It's hard to hear it, but it's true. Wherever the wind, you know, a woman operates entirely on feelings. Wherever the wind blows, her feelings will go. So many women are living in extreme states of poverty, but they will never tell anyone because they want to hold on to their ego. They don't even have money for food. They have to skip meals. It is sad being in your 60s or in your 70s and you have to miss meals. And some of these women, they'll go to the extremes where they won't even apply for food stamps because they don't want anyone to know that they're using food stamps. They wouldn't want to be seen shopping using food stamps. And that kind of tells you about how women operate and how they think. And you just think to yourself, well, they did it to themselves. Guys, the opposite is a man being able to collect EBT. Men are proud. Men are proud to go. Men are proud to collect EBT. Men are proud to get, you know, cash assistance. Men are proud. You know, there are some simps listening right now who'll say, "Oh, well, I'm not proud, angry. I don't want that government money." Or listen to me, you don't want it, I'll take it in your place. You see, give a man an EBT card, a lot of men will figure out how to eat well off that card. Okay, and in the day and age, this is what a lot of you do not understand. In today's day and age, you don't realize that if you get an EBT card, you can use your EBT card on applications like Uber Eats, Instacart. Instacart is an app that allows you to order groceries or things from pretty much everywhere. So you could, and from like all the big chains, so you can use your EBT card to order your groceries. And you just basically pay the delivery fees. Most modern women, they have everything handed to them that they don't even learn how to survive in this world. So if grandma doesn't want to go out, you know, I say grandma, but these people are my parents' age, but technically they should be grandmas right now. They don't want to go out and let anyone see them use an EBT card. They can just use Instacart and order their stuff through Instacart and or any of the apps that accept it and have their food delivered to them. But they don't even want to do that. You see, guys, pride and envy are a large part of a woman's character, and it is what ultimately destroys them. Instead of telling younger women, hey, we messed up going down the path of women's liberation, do not do what we did. Do not make these same mistakes. Don't end up throwing your life away the way we did. No. They will go and they will tell younger women, go and do exactly what we did. We're doing so wonderfully well, bro. They don't even have money for food. They're crying themselves to sleep at night. They're wishing they had a baby. No, go and do exactly what we did. And you too can have this wonderful life. And don't let anyone tell you anything different. How evil do you have to be to do something like this? One of the big problems that's happening right now, Shu and Head dropped a video about this. It's a thing that I've been noticing myself, is that an increasing number of women, older women, are getting into relationships with younger men. These are the same women that are condemning older men for dating younger women, saying that it should not be allowed. It's disgusting. It's creepy. They're trying to make these men out to be, you know, pedo bears. And then in the very next breath, they will talk about all the young men that are in their DMs. And say that, well, it's okay for an older woman to be physically intimate with as many younger men as she wants to, because there's no power. The power difference there is not the same as if it's an older man and a younger woman, where basically the younger woman is being coerced by money, while the older woman who's being with younger men, she is not coercing them with money because she's not going to spend any money on them or be a sugar mama. The reality is, you know, she's basically just like, hey, if you want to be physically intimate with me, you're going to be physically intimate with me, but I'm not doing anything for you. And of course, there's a lot of simps out there. Guys are thirsty, guys are desperate, because that's one thing a lot of men don't get in society. They don't get a lot of attention. Physical intimacy is much more difficult for a lot of men. So a lot of guys will settle for a 50-year-old or even a 50, 55, even a 70-year-old woman because they're desperate. They are desperate. Okay? So for a lot of guys, you know, because women are basically all fighting for the same 5% of men right now. In many cases, the same top 1%. So they're fighting for the top 5% of men, and in many cases, the top 1%. And men, on the other hand, are like, you know, very good-looking men. You know, highly successful men are basically just having to fight for scraps. And if you're a younger man, you don't have a lot of money, what are you going to do? So if an older woman says, yeah, you know, you're a good-looking young man, I'll be intimate with you, a lot of men are going to accept that because they'll just take what they can get. It's sad, but it's true. Women will do this and then call it equality, and then continue to pretend like there is such a large difference in power between men and women. Yeah, women are more powerful. Women have special privileges in society. and men have special punishments. This is one of the reasons why men are choosing to just go overseas and have relationships overseas, guys. That's why so many men are just opting out. It's an increasing number of younger men and becoming passport kings and saying, you know what? There are better options overseas for me as a passport king. Yeah. Guys, go and check out our Passport King course. Go and do it for yourself. It's very, very important. All right. It's a master class. I've traveled the world. Over the last 10 years, I've lived in various different countries. I've seen life and I've learned a lot. So learn from my experiences, the do's and don'ts. Unlock the secrets to living your best life abroad with the Passport Bros Masterclass. Ready to break free from the daily grind and live life on your terms? Join the Passport Bros Masterclass and discover the new American dream. Leaving America to live where you're welcomed and valued. In this course, you'll learn how to build income and a lifestyle you desire from anywhere in the world, travel safely and avoid scams, benefit from my over 10 years of travel experience as an expat and passport bro, navigate the do's and don'ts of dating overseas, create multiple streams of income abroad. Don't miss out on this opportunity to transform your life. Click the link in the description of the video to learn more and sign up today.
During the course of the marriage.
All that work and what did it get me?
In case if you can't read the small text, it says, you slept with 164 guys only to gain experience and learn how to satisfy your future husband, but he hates women with high body counts. Most women don't need so-called experience in the bedroom. All they have to do is lay on their back and open their legs. The experience she should have gotten was the cooking and cleaning. Men aren't dreaming about marrying bed wenches. Only simps idolize the bedroom and looks over everything else. I'm sure at this point she can perform as good as streetwalkers in the bedroom. But that's not marriage quality. It's fun quality, like a one-night stand type shit. And notice she looks like a good girl. Someone who's not red-pilled is going to get conned by her. That's why these Decepticons who are about to hit the wall and will target younger men who don't have enough experience with women to know better. Top comment says, that's not why you did it. Exactly. There's no way she'd want to satisfy the simp that she tricks into marriage, also known as the 304 retirement plan, unless if she wants to pee-whip him. Females in the West will use their box as an ATM card. These Decepticons will sleep with men that they'll never be attracted to just to manipulate them even more. For more free relationship benefits out of them, or convince them to sign the 304 retirement plan, also known as a marriage, or to get child support for 18 years, also known as baby trapping. To answer the comment, she racked up a high body count because she's a 304. Finding a husband was the last thing on her mind when she hooked up like it's the end of the world. Second most liked comment says, most men value purity, not a toilet. Couldn't have said it better. The best way to pleasure your future husband is to keep your damn legs closed. He doesn't want a cum dumpster. Pathetic how she even tries to make it reasonable. It's more like she's having her epiphany phase and now regrets what she did, only because it has consequences, which is, she realizes that she'll probably be single for the rest of her life.
I'm sorry. Not everybody fits in the bad bitch genre. It's a genre. Not everybody fits on the rasta.
Can someone tell me why it still hurts even when you're getting back into dating and you feel more mature and you end things with someone after a couple of dates? And I've been on 3 dates recently, 3 dates with 3 different guys, but I've gone on second dates with all of them, second or third dates, and I ended it with one guy, the other guy ended it with me, but I was gonna end it with him anyway, so that was mutual. And this other guy, you just can tell he doesn't feel it. And I thought that because I'm more mature and because it's mutual, or because I'm making the decision, that it would be less hard and I would be less sad because it's early on and stuff. But I think when it's just stacked on top of each other, it adds up. Why am I crying? Does anybody else feel this way? Even just when you feel like you're mostly healed and you're going back into dating, why does it still fucking hurt? I hate it out here.
So she wrote in the video description, "I'm cringe but I hate dating. Hashtag dating 101, hashtag dating in your 20s, hashtag NYC dating." To answer her question, women aren't built to sleep around. That's why her body becomes sad to signal to her to get back with the last man she was with. The only problem is the guy moved on because she didn't know how to keep, and there's no one around to encourage her to keep a relationship. This seems to be a good sign that she can still pair bond, but it sounds like she's not taking the hint from her body that she can't be breaking these bonds, because she just quote-unquote dated 3 guys in a row. And I use the word dated loosely, because it means in 304 code that she could have slept with them, especially after a breakup, for a rebound. Eventually, if she continues to sleep around, her emotional connection to each relationship will go away until every new guy will just be a swinging dick to her. This is why at least 25% of women in the feminist West are on some type of drug to suppress the emotional damage that comes with being a 304, along with anti-anxiety drugs which suppresses the body from feeling guilt for being an HOE. The top comment says, "Try just dating one person at a time instead of multiple. It's crazy how people serial date these days." Yeah, and this is why I tell men to stop giving free relationship benefits to women, because it gives them an incentive to date more men at once, to have their whole life catered to. This includes your time and attention. If she doesn't clearly express that she's only talking to you, then you're probably one of the many men she's using to fill up her empty life. 3 at a time, good lord. A verified TikTok thought comments, "I believe being able to make these hard decisions is a sign you're getting closer to your person. Many people stay in relationships or keep dating people they know aren't right for them." Nah, the closest she'd ever get to her person was when she was a virgin, but she probably threw that away for some high school chat at a party. The more these females date, the more entitled they become because they're able to experience the best qualities and dating benefits from men. So anything less, as in an average guy's benefits, is a letdown. Nothing will impress and woo her if she gets flown out to an exotic location by a pro athlete. Hey, don't worry, it gets even worse in your 30s. She's definitely going to make a video asking where are the good guys once she hits or is about to hit the wall. And to answer her question, the good guys aren't into women dating 3 men at once, even during the talking phase, so she might as well order a lifetime supply of wine because she's going to need to drink herself to sleep for the next 50 years.
I think a really important point that he makes in there is the fact that women are not designed to be with multiple partners for a long period of time. A woman was not designed for that. It's unfortunate, but because of women's liberation and the feminist movement, they have been told that they have to date around and be with as many guys as possible. Women, modern women, are on average being physically intimate with more guys, significantly more guys than men. The average man is being with women. Men are increasingly single, women are increasingly not. But they're going through guy after guy after guy after guy. And another point to make is that because women are going through so many men rapidly, they're also damaging these men. Because men don't have that kind of time to jump from woman to woman to woman. Women don't have a lot to lose. That's the reason why a woman can go on so many dates. Because for a man, a date is a major investment. All a woman has to do is put on her makeup and get pretty. A man, we have to have the resources to go on each date. You know, we go out into the world, we have to build ourselves up, we have to earn the money so that we can go on each date. And at the same time, for a woman, she does not need to work hard to get access to physical intimacy. Because with most of these women, while they're going on these dates, they also have these dudes on the side, and they keep them in their phone and they rank these dudes. A lot of them, they'll rank them based on their performance in the bedroom. And when they're ready, they will then call these men up and they use these men for their personal needs. And these men don't go away when they get married. Oh no, they keep these men around even when they're married. And they will go to these men when they're married. And these are the men that are going to blow the back out, because that's their purpose. We're talking about the Chads and the Tyrones. All right. These men who are basically also for the streets, and they are going to remain on the streets for the rest of their lives. That's why I've said this before, that you'll sometimes run into these types of men who are now, old and homeless. And you're like, you wondering how they ended up homeless. And the thing is, they're former Chads and Tyrones, and they were messing around for their entire life. They were in the streets for their entire life. They were using a variety of potential substances, and now they're worn out. Their bodies are no longer fit. They're no longer fit and healthy, and they have nothing to show for it. And they're out there in the streets. You shouldn't feel sorry for these men, because those are the men that spend their lives chasing after women. You know, they spent their entire lives chasing after women. They spent their entire lives in the streets, and now it's from the streets they came, and it's to the streets they have now returned. You know, that's another reason why you'll see these dudes around the church. All right, you'll see these dudes popping up in the church, because the streets lead to the church, and the church leads to the streets. So stay off the streets and out of the church. It's a vicious cycle. The streets lead to only fools. Only fools leads to the streets. The streets leads to the church. Okay? They're all interconnected. It's a vicious cycle. It's a vicious cycle. And both men and women can get gobbled up by it and taken advantage of by it. But in the case of this woman, guys, like, you know, like dating so many different people, as a man, I don't have the stress. I don't have the capacity to deal with the stress from dating so many different people at one time. And yet it's a game for women because they have less to lose. They get picked up a lot of the time. They have these men taking them on all of these restaurants, and it's like they're just cycling through men. That's why they have things like are we dating the same guy, so they can cyber stalk men or investigate a man before they even go on a date with him. Who the hell has time for that? This shows you the difference between men and women. The average man does not have all the time in the world to screen a woman before he goes on a date with her. If he met her through social media, sure, but it's kind of creepy where you're cyber stalking a person to learn every detail about them from the internet. A lot of that stuff is not necessarily going to be true unless they have like a criminal history. But when you are now living in a world where you feel it's appropriate to have to dig dirt up on every person that you go out with, that's horrible. And you don't even, the internet only gives you a window, a peek into a person, who a person is. You don't actually know who they are. For example, I think Jake Paul is a pretty decent person. He's not perfect. Well, I think Logan Paul is a very bad guy. Really bad guy. But if you didn't know any better many years ago, you would have thought that Logan was the angel and Jake was the bad one. When the reality is that it's not like that. It's more so the opposite. Granted, no one's really an angel. Jake's not an angel, but he's a much better person than Logan.
Heartfelt story of how in 11th grade I became a school slut. I just moved across country and started a new school. I had exactly one friend. We'll call her Shady, because she was a shady fucking bitch. She started dating a senior boy and didn't want to hang out with me, which is fine. She got all these new cool friends and they didn't like me because I was new and a girl, and I guess that's enough reason. Well, Shady started telling everybody that I fucked a bunch of people, and I was like, what the heck? Who? I literally sit at home and watch Harry Potter. I have no friends. Nonetheless, they'd taunt me in the hallways and be like, you slut. Or they'd follow me to the classroom and be like, we're gonna beat your ass. They'd message me on Facebook and be like, we're gonna kill you. And I'd be like, why don't you like me? And they'd be like, die. And I'd be like, okay, fair enough. So I got tired of the bullshit. I was like, I'm gonna become the one thing they fear the most. A real whore. So shortly after, I made one other new friend. His name was Juan, and he was great, and I loved him, and he would invite me to all the parties. I'd go to these parties to get drunk and make out with the guys that these girls liked. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty petty, but yeah. So when I would return to school after the weekend, they'd be like, you're a whore. I'd be like, true. There's really no moral to the story, but if you can't go high, just go really fucking low and beat bitches at their own game.
I don't think that's a flex this bird brain thinks it is. WHORE is the lowest female out there, dating-wise, besides a single mom. And women usually don't tell the whole truth when they're voluntarily confessing something, so I highly doubt it was just making out at parties, where there's underage drinking for sure. This female has ruined the rest of her life calling herself an HOE because no man she'd respect would want to be known as the sucker who married the neighborhood bike, where everyone got a turn for free. It's fun and games now while she's young and attractive, but when she hits the wall, she'll find out her true relationship value the hard way, which is no value. I'm pretty sure even at her age now, no man of worth is going to commit to her. Men love to feel special, and there's no amount of gaslighting and lying she can do to cover up the fact that she referred to herself as an HOE. So many females in the comment section relate to this 304. Can we be best friends? This is amazing. Yes, you're my soul sister. This is everything. I love this so much. Just shows how trash women in the feminist West really are. A simp comments, when I have a daughter and they have problems with bullying, I'll show them this TikTok. Bruh. And this is why the younger generations that have a father are still turning out to be 304s. Because the fathers are weak, betas, misguided, or are not red-pilled. If people, especially other females, are calling your daughter a 304, it's probably because she's acting like one, which means she needs to stop.
So today I'm going to be showing you guys the most basic dorm room UCLA offers. And I want you guys to guess how much UCLA is charging their students to live in this dorm. So let me show you guys inside. Keep in mind this is the smallest dorm at UCLA and it is the cheapest. So welcome inside. Right when you come in, there's a bunch of storage. So let me show you guys inside. Come over here. You can see how much room. You can fit so many clothes inside, which is perfect. And you also have more space in here. So come along. Every person gets a bunk bed and a desk and then closet space, as I mentioned. So you can just keep coming along. I know it's really small, but this dorm actually has the best view. Let me show you. Let's see those dumpsters. Another thing to mention is that the students in this dorm rented the fridge and microwave from the university. It cost $600. Now, I have a question for you guys. How tall do you think I am? I can stand like this and touch both sides of the beds. So all of the rooms on this floor share this bathroom. And as you can see, there are a bunch of different stalls, so you will not need to wait for a turn in the shower. There is so much room in this bathroom, so although there are about 30 people sharing this bathroom, it is quite spacious. And as you go this way, it is where all of the toilets are.
$600 to live like the kids of a deadbeat single mom who can only afford a 2-bedroom apartment but has at least 2 kids, which means they have to share a room with bunk beds. They're trading their prime years to eventually become a barista at Starbucks because their degrees are worthless, no matter if it's from a top college like UCLA. 50 years ago, women their age already owned their own house because they got married to a hardworking man. But feminism happened, and now this is so-called progress, sharing a small room with 4 other adults like they're in a summer camp. It's crazy how in the USA it's still common to share. Here and in a lot of other countries, everyone gets their own. In other countries, not everyone gets to go to college, and it's not a Ponzi scheme yet. Meaning, especially in the developing countries, only the best and brightest get to go to college to actually study a real discipline, not women's gender studies for LGBTQ literature or teaching. That's a luxury compared to my dorm. They're getting charged more for less, and have compound interest on those loans, meaning if they pay the minimum on those loans, it'll double and triple the original cost. These young women are going to be debt slaves for the rest of their lives. There's no men that save them because of the MGTOW reality. My dorm is smaller than this, and I pay $22,000 a year for it. These females can't even do basic math. $22,000 per year is a house down payment.
5 ways women lose a good man and how you can avoid it. Let's get into it, ladies. Number 1, taking them for granted. A man been so good to you for so long, you no longer see the value in him and what he does for you. Number 2, not communicating well or effectively, like expecting a man to read your mind and getting mad when he can't. Number 3, being dismissive about how your behavior makes him feel, or becoming overly defensive when you're being held accountable for your actions. Rumor has it that women struggle with accountability. Number 4, being self-consumed and unwilling to compromise, being so hyper-focused on your laundry list of needs, desires, wants, that you neglect his needs in the process. Remember, a relationship is not just about you or one person getting their needs met. And number 5, allowing your unaddressed trauma, your insecurity, make it hard for that man to enjoy his life and pursue his purpose in peace.
Most men are done with the nonsense, the BS, the games, and all of the crap. They're sick and tired of it. They don't want to have anything to do with it anymore. Women have pushed men out of Western society. A man just wants his peace. That's why MGTOW is continuing to grow. That's why I say that MGTOW, they won the war. They won the war. Many of you, and of course, I have comments like, "Oh, it's just getting started." No, they won the war because men are walking away, and a lot of men, they're not simply just going for their best alternative, going overseas and becoming a passport king. No, a lot of men are going to straight up MGTOW, and they're choosing that as their final alternative. Because men walking away is just basically men with alternatives, all right? And choosing from your best alternative. Some men choose to go MGTOW. So some men are some MGTOWs are also men walking away, but not all men walking away are MGTOWs. But I will say right now that MGTOW is slaying at this point. It's like, it's not taking names, because so many guys are saying, yeah, I'm just gonna go straight MGTOW. I'm walking away from it all. I'm walking away from relationships and society, and I'm done. I'm not looking back. That's my walking away. It's becoming a very finite thing, because like a lot of MWAs become passport kings, or they look for someone, that resonates with them. They look for their best alternative. But a lot of the MGTOW guys, a lot of them are like, no, we're done. That's my final resting place. I'm done. I'm going to be MGTOW until I am no longer above the ground. I want you guys to remember to go and check out the Angry Guy Clubhouse. You can get insights on manosphere topics, exclusive podcasts, and strategies to thrive in today's world. Free subscribers get access to videos, podcasts, articles, and the community chat. Plus, just for subscribing, you'll receive the passive income blueprint to kickstart your journey. Paid subscribers unlock even more with exclusive guides, wealth building, blueprints, and regular updates on crypto trends. Don't wait. Click the link in the description and join now. Guys, women chose the bear, and now men are telling them to go and live in the forest. Yeah. The future for women is basically one that's looking like increased poverty, destitution, and hardship. And women brought this onto themselves. And they're going to, guys, I told you this was going to happen. I said women would say, feminism got us everything that we wanted. Now let's fight it together. All right? More of that he for she total nonsense. Y'all remember he for she? He for she? All of the insane things that women have proposed over the last decade, they're going to bring some of that back. He for she are us for one another, guys. The sisterhood is out of money. All right? And while a lot of these women will never change, there are many who are now desperate. And the sisterhood is now going to begin invading into the manosphere, looking for allies, when the reality is men are just laughing their butts off. And the great thing about the manosphere is that it's hard to shut down the manosphere unless you basically shut down all dialogue around a variety of different subjects. Financial bros, those are a big part of the manosphere. Guys like Graham Stevens. When Graham Stevens started out, it was not manosphere. This guy was just talking about wealth, and he was immediately gobbled up by the manosphere. Okay? And then they go in this direction. So the manosphere is more of a thought. It exists more so in our minds than physically, and that's what makes it much more difficult to shut down. But guys, what do you think about this? Feminism, or basically women's liberation, has failed them, and now they want to submit. Are you surprised by this? Let me know your thoughts, and we'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA. Men walking away. And cheers.